Welcome today to A Long Obedience in the Same Direction. Our goal with our message series has been to encourage and affirm folks who have been saved a long time, serving a long time, to inspire the rest of us that this calling to be a believer, a follower of Christ, is something that we live out for the duration. I'm pleased to have with us today Dolly Shadden. Dolly has consented to this interview, and we thank you, Dolly, so much. Hey, you've been saved for a number of years. How long's it been since you've come to know the Lord?
Well, I received Christ at Vacation Bible School as a child, but went home to a family that didn't practice faith. So my childhood, young adult life, teenage, it's pretty messed up. The verse that comes to mind is, "He who began a good work in you is faithful to complete it."
Okay.
And through the illness of our middle child, Sam, we rededicated our lives to God. About 1985 is when I rededicated, and
1985.
then my husband was 1988.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. So that was 31 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And what has sustained you through that time? What has kept you passionate for the Lord and continued your long obedience?
Just believe in God and His Word, and good spiritual teaching, being under good teachers. Friends that, they're just as committed as what I am.
If you're like anybody else, you've had some down times in your life, but you have sustained your faith through those down times. And what is it that you've done to grow yourself through the hard times?
I have something kind of strange that my son brought me. It's a cocoon. It's an old cocoon, and it was huge, and he brought it to me. Okay. And I was very excited to see what it would turn into, and I didn't know that if it's not attached to something, that it can't go through the metamorphosis process.
Okay.
So I put leaves and sticks and everything I thought that it would need in the jar, but it died.
Okay.
And so the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, so I would say wisdom. And I keep that. It's ugly, but I keep it on my fireplace mantle because it reminds me that if I don't stay attached to the Lord, then I'm never going to know who I could have been. I was so excited to see if it'd be a huge moth or a butterfly. I didn't know what it would be, but
okay.
We were made for more. That's my fear, is if I walk away, that I'll never know who God could have created me to be.
Oh, wow. That's outstanding. To just think God's continuing the process, and no matter even what hard times are going on,
yes,
that's part of the process God's using to mold and shape you into the person He wants you to be. Well, that's great. So you started teaching children when then?
Started teaching children 1986.
1986.
Not
That's
sure what month.
30 years
Mm-hmm.
of teaching children, and I think that's a great start. 30 years.
Yeah.
And so God's used you a lot, used you tremendously. You led my younger daughter, Christina, to Christ at Vacation Bible School.
Yes.
And there's no telling the lives that you've touched because you've continued there to teach children. It's been 3 decades and counting, and I think that's great. It was a couple of years ago you went through cancer.
Yes.
And treatments and things. And how did your faith sustain you? How did you maintain a long obedience to the Lord even through that time?
Well, when you love somebody, you just don't love them in the good times. And so you're going to love God whether you're going through good times or bad times.
Sure. Hey, well, one last question then. What keeps you going today? What gives you the spiritual energy and vitality to continue following the Lord and serving Him so faithfully as you do, teaching the kids and such?
It is the Holy Spirit. I mean, when He indwells you and you stay connected to Him, it is God. And I couldn't take that credit because it is the Lord. And when God gives you a purpose, you have something that keeps you anchored and keeps you motivated. You don't allow God to put purpose in your life and stay motivated for Him. Satan will definitely put things in your life that will take your energies and and God just gives you energy. And it's been 31
Sure.
years, and I still am excited about teaching kids, and I know that has to come from the Lord.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Dolly. You've been a faithful part of our children's ministry for decades, and you're a part of our cleaning crew, and you've been faithful, and we thank you. And you've kind of helped us understand a little bit. You're just continuing to trust and depend on God, and that has a lot to do with not getting your eyes on other people, but keeping your focus on the Lord. Thank you very much. You're an example to us of a long obedience in the same direction. Now back to the service.